Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to have a look at this brand new recorder from Zoom. This is the Zoom H4 Essential, and it's the successor of the Zoom H4N Pro. So I'm going to review it in this video and also compare it to the Zoom H4N Pro. Let's see what's different about the H4 Essential and perhaps help you decide if by chance you shortlisted these two devices and you cannot decide between them, which I kind of doubt because the winner is obvious here. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin. By the way, the H4 Essential was released together with the H6 Essential and H1 Essential. The H1 XLR was released separately. The audio for this video has been recorded both on the Zoom H4N Pro and the Zoom H4 Essential. At the moment, I'm recording on the Zoom H4 Essential. So for those of you who are not familiar with the H4N Pro, it's a field recorder that was released in 2015 and it's very good, packed with features, and I believe it's one of the most popular recorders from Zoom, if I'm not mistaken. I had it for a very long time myself, but last year I decided to sell it because I wasn't using it as much, and I thought, I might as well just, rather than keeping it in a drawer, might as well just sell it and use the money somewhere else. I did buy it back, however, to make this comparison and review. Anyway, as popular as the Zoom H4N Pro is, it does have some flaws which have been addressed with the release of the H4 Essential. The first major change is the power delivery options. So both of them can be powered using 2AA batteries, and although it's nice having this option, it's probably not the best option because they go through batteries very fast, especially when using phantom power. The H4N Pro offers the option of a power adapter thanks to this port at the bottom. Unfortunately, it wasn't ideal because you had to buy the adapter from Zoom. It didn't come included. On the Zoom H4 Essential, however, that's changed thanks to a USB Type-C port. And it's better in my opinion because you can pretty much use anything to power this device, like a laptop, a PC, a phone charger, or a power bank. Anything that can deliver 5-volt power, and you can power it regardless of the mode, which is much better than the Zoom H4N Pro. Another major improvement over the H4N Pro is the audio interface. The older recorder's options in audio interface were kind of limited. I never used it all that much, to be honest. But anyway, it can do 16-bit 44.1 kHz, whereas the H4 Essential can do 32-bit float 44.1 kHz, 48 kHz. Plus, in audio interface mode, you can simultaneously record on the SD card should you want to. Not only that, but other devices are supported as well, such as tablets and mobile phones beside Mac computers and PCs. If you guys remember this video I made about these adapters, which allow lavalier microphones to be plugged into XLR ports, well, you don't need one with this new recorder because finally it was placed in a better location. On the H4N Pro, it was placed in an awkward location, which didn't allow putting it on a table or carrying it in a pocket or even in a bag. Another major change which we have seen on most recorders, audio interfaces and wireless microphones lately, and surprisingly on the new Panasonic GH7, is the addition of 32-bit float audio. Like I've said it before, it's not a big thing if you're recording indoors, but when you're not, it's nice having 32-bit float because it gives you that peace of mind without having to resort to limiters, watching and adjusting your levels all the time, or using backup tracks, especially when recording events, concerts, or in similar scenarios. Another thing that's different, which is also very welcome in my opinion, is the fact that you can use high-capacity cards on it. They are, however, micro SD cards, not full-sized SD cards like on the old one. So now you can put cards inside it as large as 1 terabyte. I'm not a big fan of micro SD cards because they can easily be lost, but at the same time, they are more affordable than full-sized SD cards. This means that you can put a card inside it and pretty much record forever because audio takes a lot less space than video. The maximum capacity cards you can plug into the H4N Pro is 32 gigabytes if I remember right. It wouldn't take anything larger than that. At the moment I have a 16 gigabyte card inside it. And lastly, there's one more thing that's new on this recorder. It has a socket for a Bluetooth adapter. The compatible dongle is called Zoom BT1, and it allows you to connect to a mobile phone as well as timecode devices such as the Atomos UltraSync Blue, which does not come included, and it costs so much in my opinion. It's kind of crazy. It costs about 30 something pounds. I can't remember, right? 32 pounds or maybe more. There's also a few minor changes like more language options on this new recorder. The older one had only English available. It could be because it was sold in the UK, which is an English speaking country. You could imagine that if it was sold in Japan, it would come with Japanese as default. Anyway, the new one gives us the option to choose between 7 languages: English, French, German, Italian, Spanish,
I think the last two are Chinese and Japanese because they're not written in English. The older one had a stamina mode option, and the newer one has that one as well, but also an auto power off option. When the auto power off option is enabled, it allows us to choose between 10, 60 minutes or 10 hours. If we don't care about power saving, we can just leave it as it is, and the device will not power off by itself provided we still have batteries or we don't get a power cut. Another minor addition is the accessibility option, which can provide a beep feedback when scrolling through the menu or options on the screen, or you can have the device to read options for you as you go through them. If you require additional help, this QR code is a link to the Zoom Corp official website where you can read more about the Zoom H4 Essential. The design is similar to that of the H4N Pro with a few changes, such as having a better screen. The buttons are a bit different. You cannot adjust the built-in microphones like you can on the Zoom H4N Pro. Most of the menu options are available on the main screen. And unfortunately, you do not get a protective case with this new recorder, which is a shame because that for me was important. I kept my Zoom H4N Pro in a pristine condition thanks to it. The newer one does not have a remote control socket, however, it can be controlled via Bluetooth, which is even better. Something you will notice when you pick them up, the newer one is a little bit more lightweight and more plasticky. I think the Zoom H4N Pro is a little bit better built. It has better finishes, it also has some metal, and it feels better in the hand. So yeah, I guess it's not too bad for the price. I mean, I've seen a little bit worse. In my opinion, the Tascam Photocapture X6, maybe a little bit worse. Not the best device in terms of build quality. This one isn't either. I could say they are comparable, however, this one feels slightly better than the X6. And it doesn't smell. When I took the Photocapture X6 out of the box, it had this pungent smell coming from it, sort of like burnt plastic, and it kept that smell for a long time. Fortunately, that's not the case with the H4 Essential. Surprisingly, the H4N Pro's screen offers better visibility in direct sunlight with less glare and better viewing angles, even though it is lower resolution. As for power efficiency, I ran several tests with rechargeable batteries, and the H4N Pro was recording for almost 4 hours before it would run out of power, and I would get almost 2 hours on the H4 Essential. But since I wasn't sure which batteries were newer and which ones were older, I bought a brand new set of generic alkaline batteries and I recorded with 48 volt phantom power turned on both the XLR inputs and the screen at full brightness. And I got almost 1 hour of recording on the H4 Essential and 1 hour and a half on the H4N Pro. So the conclusion is that the H4N Pro is at least 50% more efficient, if not more, than the H4 Essential.
So lastly, before we decide which is the better one, let's compare the preamps on these two devices. According to the specs, both of them have an EIN or equivalent input noise of minus 120 dBu, which is really good. And I did take samples from both of them and they sound similar. The H4 Essential, however, has a dual AD converter, which gives it an advantage when used with dynamic microphones. Dynamics are notorious for being less sensitive, hence requiring a lot more gain. The H4 Essential has a dual AD converter, so this does not impact the noise floor much, while the H4N Pro on the other hand struggles. I had to bring my gain all the way up, and as you can expect, it introduced a lot of hiss. This is a known issue and it can be overcome by adding a cloud lifter, a fed head, or dynamite, whatever you want to use. Luckily, some microphones have one built into it, but most microphones do not, and buying one of these amplifiers can be costly. Therefore, the H4 Essential does have an advantage over the H4N Pro in terms of preamps.
Price-wise, obviously the newer one will cost a little bit more. It's priced around £170 in the UK, whereas the H4N Pro sells for around £125. So which is the better one? Well, the H4 Essential does offer some compelling advantages and improvements over the H4N Pro, and as expected, it is the better device. Okay, that doesn't mean the H4N Pro is bad, and you can definitely still get great results with the H4N Pro. Not only that, but you can find it for a much cheaper price used because there's so many on the market. So I guess it comes down to what you need. If you can spare a little bit more money and you need extra features the new one comes with, then the H4 Essential is the better choice. But if you don't care about using it as an audio interface, it's a 32-bit float recording ability, the new USB powering options, larger capacity microSD cards, the ability to use it with mobile devices or with timecode as well, and all the other minor changes / improvements, and would like to save some money, then I guess you can go with the H4N Pro. You can still get great results with the H4N Pro, especially with condenser microphones. By the way, there's an older video I made on how to use the H4N Pro with power banks via the bottom ports. But anyway, that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you guys next time. Take care now.